I know that if I didn't do this in my illustrations, I would mess up every single time. Hello everyone! Welcome to Art Business with Ness. I'm Ness, I'm a children's book illustrator, and in this video I'm going to share with you my top 5 tips to drastically improve your illustrations. This is the exact advice that allowed me to quit my job and become a full-time freelance children's book illustrator. So this stuff really works, but it took me years to figure it out, and I really wish that someone had given me these tips years ago. It would have saved me so much time. And these tips are not just things like keep practicing, these are things that you can implement today and drastically improve the quality of your illustrations. So right before we get started, if you love illustration as much as I do and you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to see all of my future videos and hit the little bell. The bell sends you notifications when I publish a new video, so this way you're sure that you won't miss any of the advice. Alright, you ready to get started? So piece of advice number 1. Focus on the big picture first, not all the little details. This is a very common mistake that I see all the time, and I also used to have this problem myself because rendering is fun. You want to see your illustration finished. So you start like drawing all the intricate little leaves in the tree and you're having so much fun. Before you know it, you spend like 5 hours on that tree. So when you realize that, the tree placement is wrong or the perspective is wrong or something like that, you don't want to just erase it and start all over again because you've already invested so much time and you really love how the details turned out. The more time you invest into the details, the harder it is to make these decisions that would actually make the piece better. Does this sound familiar? If it does, what will really help you is to focus on the big picture first, not all the little details. Do a very quick sketch at first, just to place all of the main volumes. It can literally be stick figures and big circle blobs. If you start putting in all the little details before the base is solid, it's kind of like putting a nice coat of paint on a house that's all crooked. Make sure that the house is solid and straight first before you start doing all the interior decoration. Tip number 2. Incorporate a story, meaning, or purpose to your illustration. Sometimes we just start drawing without much of an idea in mind of where we're going, without much of a concept in mind, but when it comes to illustration, concept is actually very important. Personally, when I just start drawing without an idea in mind, I usually end up with a portrait. Something, cute, well done, but ultimately quite boring. There's nothing there for the person who's looking at it to connect to hold on to. So they will think like, pretty. And then they'll scroll past and 2 minutes later they will forget all about it. But if you're telling a story, if you're showing human reactions and emotions, or even if you're just demonstrating a concept, it's so much more gripping for the viewer. Those illustrations are memorable because they have meaning. They also have much more chance to actually impress an art director and get you work. That's because when someone buys an illustration for their company, for their project, there's always a purpose. The illustrations that they're going to buy have to tell the book story or demonstrate the concept shown in the article or even sell their product. So it's a good idea to practice putting stories and concepts into images if you want to get professional work. So are you with me so far? Yeah? Amazing. I want to take a moment here. Please scroll down to the comments and leave me a message. Please tell me what it is that you struggle most with when you're making your illustrations. Is it picking your colors, anatomy, the dreaded perspective? I'm dying to know because I want to make more videos on that subject to help you out. So pause the video right now, go in the comments and leave me a message to let me know what you struggle with. And then come back to the video for the last 2 tips. Tip number 3, plan your illustrations. If you just start painting right away, the chances of taking a wrong turn somewhere in the process are so high. There are just so many variables in an illustration. Composition, anatomy, values, color choices, perspective, storytelling, clarity, texturing. To make a successful illustration, all of these elements have to work. So each and every one of those elements deserve to be thought about carefully. And for that, planning is such a big help. I know that if I didn't do this for all of my illustrations. I would mess up severely every single time. So first, start with some research. Make a mood board, look up reference images, decide on your story. Second, plan your compositions by doing quick little thumbnails. These are very, very small sketches, just so that we can plan out your compositions. You can do as many of these as you like, 20, 30, even 50. Decide where all the characters and elements are going to go. Pay special attention to the composition, to how well the image reads, how clear it is, and how the eye travels in the illustration. Make sure that you are putting the focus on the most important elements in the image. Next, make your proper sketch. This is the time to figure out all the anatomy, perspective, and add in all of the little details that are going to make your illustration feel alive. After that, it's time to plan your values, making sure that there's enough contrast so that the image reads well. And then it's time to pick your colors. Make sure that your color palette is really harmonious and that it puts the emphasis where it needs to be. Lastly, it's time to do your final image and do all of the rendering. But with all of these decisions already made, there's no stress anymore. You know exactly how your illustration is going to turn out. So it's time to just get zen, sit back with a hot cocoa, and make your final illustration. Tip number 4, ask for feedback. 2 sets of eyes are better than 1, and 3 is even better, and so on and so forth. You get the idea. With so many variables in a piece, with so many things to keep track of, sometimes it can be really hard to figure out a piece. And if there is a problem with your illustration, you want to know about it as early as possible in the planning process as you can. So share your sketches with other artists, ask for their feedbacks. You can even share as early as a thumbnail process. Show them a bunch of thumbnails. Ask them which one is their favorite. Which one do they think reads best? Ask specific questions. Does my composition work? Does the character placement work? All of that good stuff. Other artists might also point out something that you didn't even see or didn't even consider. It's invaluable help. But now, I know that not everyone has friends who are artistically inclined and can help them with that sort of thing, especially as you get to a higher level. That's why I decided to start our very own Facebook group. Come join us and find a community of like-minded illustrators who are serious about their illustration and about starting out their career. Share your art, get feedback, ask for career advice, or even ask specific questions about a contract or a project. I will leave the link to join the group in the description below. It's going to be an amazing place to exchange with other illustrators, so come join us. And when you do, make a post with your latest illustration and a few words about yourself. Tell us where you're from and how you got started making art. I can't wait to meet you and see your beautiful illustrations. So there we are. These are my top 4 tips to improve your illustration drastically. Number 1, focus on the big picture first, not the little details. Number 2, incorporate a story, meaning, or purpose. Number 3, plan your illustration well in advance. Number 4, ask for feedback. And bonus number 5, join our Facebook group and introduce yourself. I hope you liked this video and found it helpful. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to help boost up the video so more people can see these tips. And if you have an artist friend who you think could really use these tips too, then help them out. Share the video with them so they can see it too. And if you want to get more illustration and career advice from me, then don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell so that you get a notification every time I post a new video. So that's it for me today. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye bye!